Meeting will come to order. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Nevada Irrigation District Board of Directors, June 24th, 2026. You'll all join me with a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, Division 1.
Here.
Division 2.
Here.
Division 3.
Here.
Division 4.
Here.
Division 5.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll have public comment on any items not on today's agenda. If you'd like to speak to anything pertaining to NID, come on up to the podium.
Good morning.
Raise your hand
Tyler.
online.
Oh, it's like,
Go ahead.
my fault.
Raise your hand,
All
repeat
right.
after me.
Yeah, I was like, you swearing me in for something? Anyways, good morning, Tyler Blagg. Quick question for clarification. I was at a farmer meeting a couple weeks ago, and there was an NID representative that had mentioned that a budget would be a rate hearing budget slash for the new rates August, September timeframe. And I remember a couple of meetings ago, we had, there was some guardrails passed by the board that had indicated that when a new rate increase, let's say January 1 was the target, 6 months prior to that, that there would be a rate hearing to discuss what the actual rate would be. I just wanted to find out when that meeting would be, because up until a few weeks ago, I was under the impression, and some other representatives in the community were under the impression, that July we would have that rate hearing to be effective January 1. And so I just want to see, I know Jennifer, I don't see her today here, but if there was any information on that of when a new revised budget would be available for, for the community and for rate holders, and also when that date of that hearing would be for that, the proposal rate, whatever it might be. So.
Board, I can answer Tyler
Thank
real
you.
quick. Yeah, if we can. So Tyler, I think the current budget outlook is that our first workshop for our budgets for 2027 will be September 9th, I think is the date currently, and then the following board meeting after that. So we have scheduled 2 budget workshops. I think it's the September 9th and the September 24th-ish board meeting. I don't recall one of the guardrails being a 6-month window of time in advance of the
Yeah, it was the
next
same.
year's
It
budget.
was like 2 or 3 meetings ago, and it was one talking about that there would be grants that they needed to search for grants. I can't remember if it was Director Heck or Director Stevens, the one that helped pass the motion. I looked in the minutes online. I couldn't find the example of those guardrails. But anyways, like I said, so in that case, if you had those hypothetically again, September, so then it would be 6 months from that date, or because
No, those are the workshop dates for our 2027 budget.
But I mean, as far as the rate hearing, when would that be though? That as far as, because like I said, I'll have to go try to dig through the website, but on those guardrails that was passed by the board, that resolution or what would you call it, said 6 months prior. So I'm just trying to figure out when that meeting would be, right? So
I'd have to get back to you. I don't recall the 6-month date on the guardrails. So I'll look at that up and get back to you.
okay, appreciate it.
And if that's a thing, then I'll let you know. But
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I think members community wanted to make sure that they had enough time to review the budget,
Right.
see what's going on, ask questions if needed, and be here if need be. So thank you for your time.
yeah,
We did talk about a annual meeting to do that, but I don't think we talked about a time frame.
right.
I think that's how it was.
But Tyler, I'll get back to you and let you know.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Anybody else like to speak to any item not on today's agenda? Come up to the podium or raise your hand online. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our agenda. Special orders for employee recognition service awards. Who's going to handle that?
I think Chip and I will tackle these. Chip's got one, and I'll take a couple others.
Okay.
I think we got 3. You want to start with Robert?
Good morning, board staff and public. Chip Close, Director of Water Operations. And today we're here to celebrate Mr. Robert Jackson for his 10 years of dedicated service with NID. Now, reaching 10 years of service in any industry is impressive, but reaching 10 years in the water industry means surviving countless emergencies, late night calls, unexpected system issues, and more meetings about valves than most people care to think about. And if there's one thing we know about Rob, it's this: when things go wrong, he doesn't run away from the problem, he runs towards it. In fact, whenever there's a crisis, a broken main, an operational challenge, or something making everyone else nervous, Rob somehow appears and says, "What's going on? I want to be in the mix." So some people avoid chaos. Rob treats it like a VIP event, which is why I like to call him Action Jackson. Over the last decade, Rob has built an impressive level of expertise, earning certification as a distribution operator grade 5 and a water treatment operator grade 2. For those outside the industry, those certifications represent years of knowledge, commitment, and hard work. For those of us in the industry, it means Rob is the person you want to standing next to you when the pressure's dropping, alarms are going off, and everyone's trying to figure out what happened. He's the guy. Rob knows all the details on both Nevada and Placer County routes and is integral in training new employees. Of course, Rob doesn't spend all of his time thinking about pumps, canals, and distribution systems. When not helping deliver safe, reliable water to our community, he can often be found with his wife and 2 daughters on a soccer field, going camping, hunting, or riding motorcycles. And when you think about it, those hobbies make perfect sense. Soccer teaches teamwork and strategy. Camping teaches self-reliance, hunting teaches patience, and motorcycling teaches focus. All of them involve a little risk and adventure, which explains why Rob volunteers to jump into every operational challenge that comes along. Because of employees like Rob, our system operates safely, our customers receive reliable service, and our organization continues to succeed. So Rob, congratulations, and thank you for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'll say a few words about Davin Chittock. Davin's been with us for 10 years, and today we're recognizing him for those 10 years of service. Reaching this milestone is something to be proud of, and the district appreciates the commitment he's shown over the last decade. Davin has been a dependable member of the team and someone who works well with his crew. He gets along with those around him and contributes to a positive work environment daily. During his 10 years with us in the maintenance department, Davin has spent most of his time on the canal maintenance team. Over the years, he's developed a strong knowledge of the district's numerous canal system miles in Nevada County and is always willing to help newer crew members learn the many locations throughout the system. 10 years of service represents a lot of hard work, experience, and dedication. Davin, thank you for your contributions and for being part of the team. Congratulations on your 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next, we have Monica Reyes, who has been with the district for 30 years.
She started when she was 12.
And started when she was 12. So Monica is unique. On June 17th of 1996, while many remember that day, albeit when the sports world was dominated by the aftermath of the Chicago Bulls winning their 4th NBA championship, or were flocking to the box office to see the new hit blockbuster action film The Rock, starring Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery, or listening to the head-bopping, chart-topping Fugees as they held the #1 spot for Killing Me Softly. Monica walked into her first day, her first Monday at NID as an NID employee. Little did she realize it would be more than just a job. It would be a career and a start of her work family. Monica started that fateful day as a customer service representative. She faithfully executed her job, always with an eye on more responsibility and more authority, always pushing her boundaries. Monica rose through the customer service ranks to hold the customer service administrator position. Monica was so eager to rise through the ranks at NID, she even once taped her picture next to the then GM Ron Nelson's photograph on the picture frame that's in the hallway right outside the door. Eventually, 9 years ago, Monica was successful in achieving her goal of becoming a member of the management team. and was hired into her current role as the Director of Recreation. Although Monica doesn't like to camp, she seamlessly runs a world-class suite of campgrounds. After 30 years, something outside of work must keep Monica going. In 2019, she decided to push herself even more, this time physically. She started competing in what has become the world's premier obstacle course racing series, Spartan Racing. You don't know what Spartan Racing is? Well, mildly, it can be defined as sheer pain for hours. Monica does these races with her son, and Monica has recalled her greatest race was a 36-mile, 11-hour race in San Luis Obispo with 33 obstacles. Sheer brutal. But it keeps her going. I've always admired Monica's lighthearted way of getting business done. I think I can speak for all of those whom she has worked for and works with now in saying that she is a pleasure to work with at NID. This organization and the Recreation Department specifically would not be the world-class operation it is if she had not chosen to grow and develop her career here at NID. Thank you, Monica, for your 30 years of service.
Thank you, Greg. Any comments from the board? Thank you, Monica. Thank you, guys, for your faithful service to NID. It's always a pleasure working with you. Okay. Next, we have the investment portfolio review. Receive a presentation from PFM Asset Management for the investment performance review for the quarter ending March 31st. Do we have
And board, it looks like we have Michael on the line Chris, will he take over the screen?
I will
Morning,
share
Michael.
my screen. Can you all hear me?
Michael?
Can you all hear me?
Not really.
A little bit.
Okay.
Michael, can you say another word?
Yes,
We
I'm
just turned.
testing my
Yeah.
audio and changing this. Can you hear me better now?
Very good.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Excellent. That is helpful. I appreciate when the technology works. And you can see my screen, or is that big enough for you?
Yes.
Looks good.
Okay, then we're on track. I do never like to follow a presenter like the one that just spoke. I appreciated his presentation and comments about the staff at NID, and I respect the tenure and the research you did. So thanks for letting me sit in and listen to that. That was nice. For the investment report, we're going to be talking about the quarter ending March 31st, 2026. Here we are at nearly the end of the second quarter, and we'll get the June 30th quarter end next week, but we wanted to make sure we're providing the update to the board on the latest. So if we flip to, I think it's page 13 in the agenda packet, we're going to go straight to the portfolio snapshot. Looking at, oops, I guess I skipped a few pages. So let's go back to the consolidated summary on page, I think it's 13, PDF 13. And in that consolidated summary, we show the total market value of assets in the portfolio to be $124 million. That is comprised largely and most notably of U.S. Treasuries, which makes up the largest allocation at 41% in the portfolio. That's followed by federal agencies at 23%. But when you include the CMBS, or the commercial mortgage-backed security structures issued by agencies, a couple lines below that, total exposure there on agencies is closer to 37%, still following in that second place behind Treasuries. And corporates, we've seen some progress picking up corporates from the prior quarter. We have 21% in the portfolio. In terms of overall distribution of maturity portfolio, we have a range that we kind of express here. 11% that matured over this last quarter, ending June 30th next week. And for the full year ending March 31st, 2027, we had about 39% of the portfolio maturing in the account. We also have issuer diversification here. We show, because of the credit rating requirements, we show various issuers, all issuers in the portfolio having a minimum credit required by policy of single A or above. We do show some in the negotiable CD areas that are not rated, but they do have FDIC insurance coverage there. So it does still meet the requirement there. We also note the diversification among issuers, no more than 2.4%. That's heavily weighted on the JP Morgan Chase issuer, and remainder of assets no more than 1.5% of the portfolio's assets per issuer. Looking at the managed portfolio, excluding the CDs that are maturing this quarter, in quarter 3 by September 30th. We're looking now at the managed portfolio with a total market value of $123.3 million. That includes the market value of all securities in the portfolio, accrued interest not yet paid on the bonds, and $210,000 in cash pending reinvestment. The portfolio's duration is 1.89 years. We typically will target the benchmark, which is the 1 to 5 year U.S. Treasury curve, but we're a little shy of that, and that's deliberate. It's intentionally short of the 2.47 benchmark because of the anticipated capital liquidity needs for capital improvement projects for the district over the next couple of years. So we are shy of that, but still note the benchmark's duration is typically our target. And yield at cost, significant improvement. This continues to rise over time. We're at 3.41% in the portfolio. We're approaching parity with market yields as of March 31st, which were 4.4%. And the difference there is, one is the yield at cost, the average yield in the portfolio and the earnings rate on the bonds in the portfolio versus where the market was as of March 31st on those same bonds, if all bonds were purchased on that date. On average, credit quality AA in the portfolio, which strives for that first objective of the policy of safety. We have about 85% of the portfolio rated AA or higher, largely because of the concentration in agencies and U.S. Treasuries, which are AA rated. Again, we're seeking to achieve the objectives of safety, liquidity, and yield in that order. And in terms of a duration distribution, this chart shows the duration of securities by year in the portfolio. We see, again, the focus on the liquidity needs of the district in that 0 to 1 year area as compared to the benchmark and how that's distributed throughout 5 years. And again, we take a look at issuer diversification in the managed portfolio. It's fairly repetitive. Portfolio activity, the first quarter presented further opportunity to increase exposure to corporates. We were at 14% in corporates on December 31st. That has increased to 22% as of March 31st. Maximum allocation to corporates is allowed up to 30%, so we're well within the limit and room to grow if opportunity presents itself. Through 2025, because of the compressed value or de minimis spreads on corporate bonds, we didn't have a lot of opportunity to expand into this sector, but because of large issuance in the early part of the first quarter and because of the Iran conflict that created some volatility and opportunity with widening spreads, we did have that opportunity to grow the corporates in net activity. So, and we did the same with treasuries as well. We grew both, but to a larger extent, the corporates. So the way to read the chart on the left is blue are the purchases of each of the asset class in various asset classes in the portfolio, whereas gray are sales or maturities from the assets. So we gained in corporates and treasuries, and we reduced in commercial mortgage backs and federal agencies. Those agencies are maturities. And in fact, on the federal agencies, we have another and the final $15 million maturing this quarter from older positions at a time when we began managing the portfolio. But overall, net activity, a difference of $1 million in purchases overall of maturities versus sales. Turning to portfolio performance, we continue to earn interest at that previously stated 3.41 rate, which is where the interest earned is reflected at $893 $100,000 for the 3 months ended March 31. Because of a rise in yields over the period, due to inflation concerns largely stemming from the Iran war and oil prices and how that might trickle through the economy, market values on the bonds held in the portfolio came down by 215,000, and this includes all prices, whether it's realized or unrealized. It's simply the change in reflected value of those bonds. So a total dollar return for the period of 677, close to $678,000, which for the quarter is a total return of 0.55%. That did outperform the benchmark, that 1 to 5 year benchmark I alluded to earlier, by 35 basis points. Fixed income, of course, did struggle in total return over the quarter because of higher rates. So as rates rise, existing bond values fall, and that's reflected in overall returns. Extending back for the full year, back to March 31st, 2025, performance in the portfolio remained strong at 4.34% in the portfolio. Again, this includes unrealized gains and losses. But interest earned for the year end was $3.2 million. We had a positive change in market value when pulling back to that full year of $1.7 million for a total dollar return of the portfolio of $5,040,000. And the return versus the benchmark remained consistent in outperformance, which is the goal, to its inception date on September 30th, 2022. From a different perspective, we can see the continued earnings in the portfolio because all the assets in the portfolio are required to be fixed income securities, high grade fixed income. Each security does accrue interest. And so from an accounting perspective, what does that look like when you strip out unrealized gains and losses and just look strictly at book values? We have the same amount of interest earned as reported on the prior page for the 3 months ended March 31st of $893,000. We actually had some realized gains from some sales in the portfolio of $75,000 for that period. And then just from an accounting perspective, a change in amortized cost on the bonds of $21,000 brings the total earnings for the 3 months to $990,000. And over the past year, total earnings with the same line items, approximately $3.4 million for the portfolio. And so if you look at the chart on the right, the blue kind of shaded area is that earnings growth over time. So the steeper that line becomes, the higher the yield that we're earning overall in the portfolio. And that's really the correlation to that chart there. It's just earnings over time since inception. And with that, I'll pause and take any questions if there might be any from the board.
Questions?
I have a quick question. Thank you. So this is, an impressive earnings curve, right? And my question is, in your crystal ball, where do you think that curve is going to continue for the next 12 months? Is it going to continue to go up, flatten, stabilize, down? What does your crystal ball say?
Yeah, well,
we know what Rich thinks, but I'm curious what the experts think.
Okay, there's an opinion. I've got to be careful here.
There's always an opinion.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we've already seen in this quarter rates going up. And at March 31st, with the with this report, we were already seeing that shift. Rates rose on the 2-year Treasury in the first quarter by about 32 basis points from the beginning to the end of the quarter. And that is about the same effect we're seeing this quarter. So we'll see overall for probably June 30th, unless there's a dramatic turn in rates over the next week, we'll see rates rise over the quarter in the next report. And so in terms of reinvestment over this quarter, that's a positive to capture higher yields. Fixed income is always a double-edged sword because when you hold bonds and rates rise, the market values come down. But when you are buying securities, you're doing so at higher yields. So the nature of fixed income is to dollar cost average over time and to try to capture rates at the long end of the curve where typically those yields are higher. For the portfolio specifically, I do believe that the yield at cost will continue to rise. simply because, as I mentioned in my earlier report, some of the bonds that were purchased in a lower rate environment because we dollar cost average over time, some of those bonds are maturing. In fact, all of the remaining bonds that were purchased prior to PFM beginning to manage the portfolio will mature by September 30th. And
Interesting.
that'll give us the opportunity to reinvest at prevailing rates, which will average into the portfolio's yield. But note too, at the same time, the priority is safety, liquidity, and yield. And so liquidity after safety is something that NID staff is working to make sure that we're aware of the CIP needs over the next couple of years. And so we don't want to overextend those liquidity needs for the district. But even still, short-term rates are elevated, and we'll get some lift and benefit from that. And we'll see that reflected very likely in the June 30 and September 30 reports. And yeah, and I'll pause there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
A
you.
quick question if I could. Well, Michael, this is Earl. This may be a silly question, but we have 124 million in your program that you're managing for us. Is that only our reserves, or is there other monies in there? Or do you know that, or you're just handling a pot of money for us? I guess I should ask.
NID does retain liquidity separate from this managed portfolio. What we're managing here is monies not needed in the near term or for current operating expenses. I guess I would defer to Jennifer or Sandra if there may be other comments to where liquidity may be held.
Yeah, it's primarily our reserves.
Okay, thank you. I thought so, but I was just clarifying.
Anybody else? Rich?
Rich, speaking into the microphone.
Whoa.
Too much, huh? All right. First time in years. So much better balance than when you first took it over. You know, we were all 4 or 5 years out previously at lower interest rates, and right now you have adjusted it really well to give us a higher yield, better balance, and I guess after September you'll make even more corrections. So I just want to thank you. And so this is in the portfolio. Our 6 months operating cash is separate, correct? Yeah, no. Couldn't hear you.
Sandra, we need Sandra to answer some of that.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Sandra
Sandra.
Dunlap, Director of Finance. So the reserves include 6 months of operations,
Correct.
which would be in here. But as Michael mentioned, items are maturing and we're watching that closely because we are likely going to pull from reserves for some of those larger capital projects, as mentioned in the water rate study, right?
Right.
So this is primarily all our reserves, right? Because it's not easily accessible versus LAIF. LAIF is another investment vehicle, but it's more like a savings account where we can pull from it and have it the next day. This takes a little bit more time because if we pull something out early and it's not of maturity, we could get penalized for that. So Michael and his team are really great at emailing us like, hey, this is coming up. Do you want to reinvest? Do you want to, we'll talk later this year about pulling it out for some of those capital.
And this includes the capital capacity fees or charges, which is what, about 9 million?
9 million roughly.
9.7, whatever, 9 million.
Yeah. So that's
Which has to be used for specific use.
correct.
What other funds of money have to be used for a specific use? Hydro?
That's not in here. So this would include all of the reserves, and I'm picturing the reserve chart in my head. So it's like the capital reserves for hydro, water, recreation. It also includes catastrophic reserve, the 6-month operational reserve, a different one, accrued liabilities. So that's a really small amount, but it's in our reserve policy to have all of that in.
Right.
Yeah.
They have designated use.
They're all designated, correct. Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
And thanks, Michael.
we'll go. So if I heard right, he said, and you said that in order to manage ongoing management of the portfolio, they're planning on these big capital projects coming out
in this year, in the coming year's budget. Is that correct? Is that what he said? We're going to have to tap the reserves to pay for some of those capital improvements.
That's up for discussion when that workshop
For
comes
discussion.
forward to talk about the water rates and the percentage that could be adopted for the increase in future years. We'll work through that, right? So part of the water rate study was new debt, meaning issuing new money and pulling from reserves.
Doing both.
Doing both, correct. Yes. And so those dollar amounts, those haven't been established yet.
Right.
Amount
No, but
as far as how much is, going to mature later this year in September, that will, help us gauge. And, we're also working with Fieldman Roman, who does our debt issuance. And so we're going through that analysis right now.
So by delaying from July 1st, 2026 to January 1st, 2027, it was estimated we were dipping into our reserves by $25 million, which basically saves the community upfront about $25 million.
It's not dipping into reserves 25 million. It's just not collecting 25 million in revenue, right?
Gotcha. But it has to be made up somewhere
It has
if
to be
we,
made up. Yeah,
according to the budget.
correct.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
Thank you, Sandra.
thank you.
Okay, any more questions from the board?
I just wanted to express appreciation for Jennifer and Sandra as well, because they're very collaborative with our team in managing the portfolio to address the questions that you had for funding availability and liquidity. They're very responsive, and as we have ideas for the portfolio and trade recommendations, they're very responsive, and it's been a very, very collaborative relationship that works very well. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, Michael. Any further questions? Does that conclude your presentation?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Have a good day.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Good job. Okay, moving along. Yes. Is there any public comment on our presentation about our portfolio? Any online? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. Next item is, I believe, our workshop.
Consent. I think it's consent.
Consent
Consent items.
Yes, okay.
And Mr. President, I do have one correction on one of the consent items, and could I just tell you that now? To
Yes.
give everybody a heads up, on consent item 4C, there was just a typo in the minutes. It's on page 77 of 4C, and it is the motion acknowledgements for the substitute motion, which failed on the following roll call vote. In the minutes, currently it's listed as Fowler, Division 3 was an aye, and Johansson, Division 5 was a no. Those are actually should have been flipped. Fowler was a no, and Johansson was an aye. So
Okay.
I want to make sure we have those
Are
corrections.
those
That was in 4C,
4C,
page 77 of the
70?
It's the last
Okay.
page of that.
big page 77.
I looked for it briefly last night, didn't find it.
Just a clerical typo. We just need to correct it.
So it is corrected in this,
No,
it's not correct.
No.
Right
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Those two. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Greg. All right, do we have a motion
I'd like to pull 4F.
or F? Okay,
I would like to pull 4D, E, and H.
I know, and I want to pull 4A, 4D, and 4E.
are we pulling the whole?
And these are for discussion, but
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do all the discussion. Name
And
yours
4H.
again, please.
4D, 4E, and 4H, please.
Or H.
I'm looking
Okay.
forward to the discussion on 4-H. I'm glad you pulled that.
mhm.
All right, and you wanted,
I would like, please, 4A, 4D, 4E, and also 4-H.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Rich, what do you got? Nothing?
You got nothing? Okay, the way I've noted that, that leaves,
You have 4B, 4C as corrected,
Yeah.
4G, and 4I.
okay, once again, we can do it two ways. We can discuss all these and vote on the,
I would suggest we take the items that are still on consent and then
and vote on them first.
we'll vote on them first and then individually take the
And that's 4G and
4B,
those two?
which ones, yeah?
4B,
G and I.
4B, 4C as corrected, 4G, and 4I.
Oh, I see.
So is there a motion for those
Yes.
consent
Let's
items?
have a
So
motion.
moved.
Second.
Is there any public comment on the consent agenda as the items we're voting on currently? Any further board discussion? Okay. Madam Secretary, you call the roll, please.
Yes, Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Starting with 4A, I think that was Director Stevens.
No, that was
It was,
You
it
guys
was
are gonna have
me.
to help me with this.
That's
I
fine.
didn't
We'll
write
help
fast enough.
out.
Go ahead.
We'll help out. My comment is, I shared with Greg, but I would like our minutes in general, but specific at this time to 4A, to reflect that after all of the public comment that we received, that what's missing is a notation that the board and staff responded to the public comments to help correct any misunderstandings and answer questions. And the purpose for doing that is, as I've been out in the community, as all of us have, people say things like, well, you had 50 people say stuff and you all just sat there, and sometimes that is true because because of the Brown Act and so on. But in these cases, these were largely workshops and there was a lot of dialogue. And there were opportunities, and Jennifer especially, to correct misunderstandings and answer questions. And so I just really want it noted for the record that we all just didn't sit here like bumps on a log, that there was dialogue that went on after, sometimes between, but
At the bottom of 52.
well, I know, but it doesn't, it's not on each one of these minutes for one thing, but I just wanted, this is just for discussion, that I just really would like to have it noted that there was discourse or dialogue or engagement between the public and staff and board with regard to the comments. That's it.
So I've talked to the board secretary about this and
Oh, good.
some of these elements and the way that we actually produce the minutes are difficult to really abide by that request specifically because these minutes are not verbatim. They're not
Understood.
they're not a chronological order of what was discussed. It was just sort of this person made this comment. But I think we can take it back to staff and take a look at what we can do in the future as we have robust comments and robust conversations over a particular item. And maybe there's a way that we could better incorporate a comment where there might be a response to a miscommunication or an update to information. So
Right. And like I was saying to you yesterday, just even a catch-all phrase at the end of this that says, board and staff responded to questions, comments, to assist in understanding or whatever, however we want to word it, but just something that says that we were engaged in discussion. So that was my comment for that. And I would just like to see it anytime, especially on these large meetings where we have a lot of public input. And I just don't want it to appear that nothing was spoken about.
got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it for me, for that one.
And the next one is 4C. Is that you also?
No, I don't think we need an amendment to the minutes. That was, I just pulled it for the purposes of discussion.
Nope.
And my comment about that would go for,
All three of them.
for all three of them
And-
and for
and future.
future minutes.
Got it.
Yeah, That,
And we're going to vote on that separately now.
Well, I was just gonna.
I don't
ask-
know that we need a vote. I just needed.
No,
Didn't
Yes.
You do.
we're gonna, go ahead, Dustin.
You still should consider approval of the minutes. Sounds like
Yes.
you're not asking for amendment of the amendment. And
No, I'm
Just wanted to
happy
discuss.
to approve it, but this, for the purposes of this meeting, I wanted to discuss it.
So, Mr. President, I would suggest we just take these individually now.
And have a motion on each one.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would move approval for item 4A.
I second with the idea that I like really just emphasizing that, but sometimes we do have responses and answers to questions. And I think it's important for getting that message out.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Rich.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment on this item? Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll for item 4A on the consent agenda?
Yes. Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and I believe 4B was the correction in the minutes already.
Or
Was
C.
4C. We've taken care of 4B and 4C.
We're at 4D.
Is that 4C? Okay.
4D. We're at 4D. We've done 4A, B, and C.
We've done those.
We're at
Okay.
4D.
4D. Who?
That's me.
That's you.
And,
Okay.
and me, we both pulled.
Okay.
Basically, my comment is, and for D, E, and H, is that why do we have such huge differentials on the bid prices? You know, we're going from 464, the next
Mhm.
bid is 590, next one's 690, next one's 740. That's huge differentials. There's only a couple reasons why that should happen is one, the bid's unclear. Two, people have full workloads and they're just bidding stuff for the heck of it. Other people are throwing wags out there, wild excessive guesses. If we had greater, or they're not familiar with the project, we might have one of these contractors might have been working on this job for the last 20 years and they know where all the skeletons are and then they could bid it lower. But anytime we have close bids, it's competitive. People have to sharpen their pencil. It can bring down the overall prices. When I see bids this high apart, it scares me. So I would like to see if we could do a follow-up or an autopsy on all these bids just to find out why we're having such discrepancies. And people may say, oh, our workload's huge. Or they may say,
We didn't really want the job.
we didn't want the job. Yeah, we think it's gonna be about 400,000, well, 7 million, you know? And we have one in here that's,
4-H was a pretty good example of that.
yeah, it's huge. So
It is.
So it's the biggest one I've ever seen, the biggest spread I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I would just like to see if we could start doing autopsies on these, for lack of a better term, or follow-up or something, so that maybe we make it a part of the bid package that they, after the bid price, the bid has been posted and awarded, that we basically get feedback from them saying, why did you bid the way you did, or what was lacking, or something of that nature. I don't know. I just,
Mhm.
anytime we can get more, if we have these bids that are only 1%, 2%, 3% apart, next time they're gonna bid them a little bit closer, they're gonna sharpen their pencil a little harder. I think it's gonna bring down prices for the district. That's my comment.
Is that,
I have a comment on, also on the same item. And this will be my comment on all of these items that we pulled. And that is, and maybe it's Steve to answer this, but I noticed that in some of these, there are contingencies, 10% contingencies built in, and on some of them, they're not. And my question is, why aren't there contingencies built in with each one of these, so that when or if there's a cost overrun, it doesn't have to come back to the board? And also what we find sometimes is that we'll award it to the lower bidder and they come back and go, oh, just kidding. We need to, we underbid this and we need to get more money. So I'm just kind of curious, along the lines as Director Stevens, about the accuracy of these bids and then putting in the contingency. So that's my comment.
So I can.
Steve here?
I can
Gabe-
take
Gabe or
the answer,
Steve?
But Steve, maybe you want to speak up. But regarding the contingency, my understanding, and Steve, correct me, is that the bids and the package and the work that's done on this particular projects, and particularly 4E and 4F, the tanks, is a very specific confined work. It's not like we're putting a pipe down 2 miles of road and we're going to hit rocks and or right away hasn't figured it out. So it's very specific to that contained area, and the work is generally known, most of it. And so I believe that's why there wasn't contingencies, but maybe you can kind of.
That is correct. Good morning, Steve Prosser, Director of Maintenance. These, the tanks and clarifier refacing, they go through many years of inspections. We have professional third-party inspectors. They inspect everything. They provide a punch list, a very specific punch list for each of the locations, and they are bid based on that punch list. So it's pretty much eyes open on this kind of project because it's not new construction. This is rehab of existing facilities. There are no surprises. We've identified every minute failure, weakness, replacement requirement. So we have done 3 to 4 tanks a year for the 5 years I have been here, and we have not had cost overruns on this type of project.
On this,
I'm not saying that that's anything, wonderful or greater because of the companies we use or the specs we do. It's the type of work it is.
the type of work. And so then following up, to Director Stevens' point and my concern as well, is then if it's so well known and so I'm hearing it's, pretty prescribed work, what would you, what do you want to say about the difference between 464 and 737,000?
From our exit interviews on bid openings, it is primarily new vendors coming into the area and not knowing so they're bidding off other areas' estimated prices, and also companies that we have used in the past that are so busy that they would have to mobilize field personnel from outside the area, which then increases their costs for housing and additional materials and equipment. So what we're seeing is either they're too busy, or we do try to encourage new vendors to come in and bid on our projects. So we're not just using the same 1 to 2 companies every year.
So you are doing the follow-ups?
Oh, yes.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Oh, yes, they do. Well, they are required to review all of our previous inspection documents because we have a third-party professional inspector to look at every of the tanks. Then, as part of the bid process, there is a mandatory on-site meeting, and they walk through.
Pre-bid.
Yeah, pre-bid, but the tanks are emptied. They see everything so that they know when they're bidding what they're bidding for.
And Steve, if I can just add to the point. So we do, after the bid openings, we actually do an interview with all of them.
Yeah, we have a good relationship with all of our existing approved vendors, and then we do interview the new ones that come in and talk to them about their bids and what they could do next time.
How do you explain the difference in the diving from 167,000 to 1.8 million?
Well,
Wait, is that a different item?
We're not on that item.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know.
No, I mean, it just
We're on 4D.
Or D.
understood.
Okay.
We will get to that.
Don't feel
item in
bad,
just a
Rich.
minute.
I'm having a hard time
Yeah,
keeping.
that was
Yeah,
my
I know
favorite.
that one.
I want to be on that trip. That's a
It's a submarine.
submarine.
So one last follow-up question. Given what your description of the familiarity of the work and kind of the nature of it, do we have a not to exceed clause
We do an all-in
contract?
price.
I'm sorry, what?
We do an all-in price.
An
So
all-in.
it's, I called it when I spoke to Greg, not to exceed, but it's traditionally, it's a total compensation. This will be the price of the work to be done. There, with one small caveat, which is there's a very, very, very small chance that during the beginning of the process, they will test the existing paint to see if there's anything that potentially is needing additional types of decontamination or removal.
Mhm.
Most of these tanks have been refaced years after that could be an issue. So we have no concerns about it, but we do mandate that they do test the paint chips.
So this is a not to exceed or is a fixed bid?
Fixed bid.
Fixed bid. And then would it behoove us to actually do the in-house testing before the bid of the paint to make sure that the lead base, the molybdenum, or whatever the case might be, would not be an issue?
We do, but we also want them to test areas that we haven't tested because there are, throughout the years, there are areas that get touched up, different types of material is put on it. I wouldn't want to test one little square and then 5 feet away have something bad happen.
Correct. So we are doing a testing to cover ourselves. So we have
Oh, absolutely.
a very good understanding of what's coming up. But you're right, they're going to go through it.
There's patch repairs yearly.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
My question, how does what you just said about all-in price pertain to change orders? Where do they fall in? Or are they included or not?
We, again, with this type of work there, we don't see change order.
This type of work. Okay, so if we're
Unless they
talking,
find lead in the paint.
Or some other heavy.
well, unless, but I mean, there's still the
That they already know.
still the potential for stuff like that to happen,
Yeah, we would then contract with a different party for that type of work.
or the analysis of it, or the work
Analysis,
analysis.
because they'd still do the removal.
Okay,
Question on that. Are we just looking for the metals or is mold an issue for this sort of stuff?
They will strip the exterior and rust old paint and any type of accumulation.
I'm at the testing. When they're testing, they're looking for lead, but they don't care
No.
about the mold issues or anything like that.
Okay.
That's a wild card.
thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
We were talking about
4D.
4D, right?
4D.
Well, if the board is ready, I'm ready to move
Public
approval of 4D.
Public comment though?
Somebody will make the motion and get a
Make the
public.
motion.
Second, on
Second.
4D.
Then I asked for more discussion from the board. Then I asked for public comment.
Right.
Any public comment on this item? All right, Madam Secretary, you call the roll, please.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll go to 4F,
Wait,
No, 4E.
4E.
sorry, Chris.
Which
4E.
one did we just vote on?
We did
We
D.
did D.
Okay.
This is also
I thought we were doing those together.
my request.
Yeah.
The delta is what I'm having trouble with the difference in the prices there.
All right,
And I think I have clarification on the required schedule because September to December is low water usage. And so we can put it in there and keep it within this year's budget. But I got that clarified. But once again, the delta. So same comments, same concern. But I think my questions have been answered.
And mine is the same. It's like, why is there no contingency put in here? And is that because it again is the same type?
Same answer.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I'm good. Thank you.
anybody else?
Waiting for a motion.
Motion to approve 4E.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further board discussion? Any public comment on 4E? Madam Secretary, you call the roll, please.
Yes, Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now am I at 4F?
You're at 4F.
Now you're at
I
4F.
think that's Director Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 4F. This is interesting. It's kind of
Yes.
interesting. A gentleman called me yesterday evening, specific to this item, and I appreciate that he took the time to read through the
Oh, no
board
kidding.
agenda and had
Great.
really, really good questions about it. But and which prompted me to do further diligence on my end, and I appreciate that. I appreciate people keeping me accountable. So thank you, Mr. Blagg. So this is it's a pretty standard procurement thing, and this is for a little Bobcat mini excavator, and he just did some really basic homework, and I have not had opportunity to go through it, but what appears to be a very similar machine from a similar supplier is nearly $20,000 less. And so when I saw that, I thought, well, that is an interesting discrepancy. So then I read more about the source well, and I'd like an explanation on how the source well cooperative purchasing contract, because as I read through the staff report, and I think, Steve, this is going to get back to you. So when I read through the staff report, we do not put these out to bid, or we do not ask for. So there's like a third-party agency that finds a good price for us, but maybe it's not a good price, and maybe an explanation of that, because I don't understand how the source well works or what it is. And is there an opportunity to buy this tractor from Garton Tractor for $20,000 less?
Well, I'd have to look at the specs, but it wouldn't just, we do the tractor plus attachments. So
Okay.
there are a list of attachments that are also included into this. So
Okay.
it's not just the base price of the tractor. There are tools that are necessary in order to maintain the canals and our treated water system that need to be included. But as far as Sourcewell is concerned, it is a third-party agency that is contracted by government agencies. And what they do is they entertain vendors to then bid on different types of products for use by governmental agencies. So they accept the bids for a variety of vendors. They go through the vetting process. They identify the low responsive bidder for each of the individual product types that they then list. And then as a member of this organization, we get to utilize that price, which is the best price that they have identified from the bid process. So it's basically, we piggyback off other government agencies, other third-party bidding processes to ensure that we are getting the lowest price for the item through a vetted bidding process.
It's a common multiple agency bidding process where we don't have to spend our time RFPs going out and bidding. It is a vetted, pre-vetted organization that helps municipal organizations throughout the country, and particularly in our case.
Do they get a cut?
Yeah.
What
How
is their
percentage?
They get a percentage of the. They must be, or they are not a. They're not
Sounds
totally
like they're a broker.
My understanding is that in order to be a vendor, you have to be a member of that. Our membership is free.
So the vendors pay to be in it?
Yeah, or it's an application associated fee. I'm not sure about a cost over the invoice. I'm not sure about that, but I do know that it is a like a clearinghouse for bidding process. So,
And
I cautious. I mean, like Steve says, this is a bid for the product all in, including extras within the system. And
do we know what those extras are? And does this include shipping?
yes,
So
tax, shipping, delivery, and attachments.
taxes, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Do you know what those attachments cost?
I don't have the bid in front of me. I could, to me, it's probably right around 15,000 of that price is the additional cost, not the base equipment.
And the bid that you got, does that include the shipping, the taxes, et cetera? Brad?
yeah,
Yeah, it's actually a
It's
delivered price.
delivered price, okay.
With the attachments.
I don't know. It does, and I don't have any attachments on this. So the gentleman that prepared this for me I think he just called the guy and got a number.
I
And
think he's standing up,
He
right?
might be standing.
yeah.
Yes.
With his hand up.
Well,
Go ahead. Come up to the podium.
we can.
I was just curious about the source wall. So I was looking for
Not
clarification.
public comment yet, but again, Tyler Blagg. I call the vendor that we use. So I did ask, they do use your source, well, how do you pronounce the name? They're part of that. And then NID is actually a vendor in their system already. It took me about 5 minutes to make the call. I gave them the number off of the agenda. I even sent them the agenda item. I said, hey, can you give me your best price with the attachments delivered to the yard here? And that's the price after tax. So it has the attachments. So, your department will have to double check its right specs, but that's all the attachments delivered here, tax through that Sourcewell program. So anyways, just looking at trying to help the district save money.
Appreciate it.
So yeah.
That didn't take you months of time?
Okay.
It took about 3 minutes and a text. So Yeah.
Tyler.
Yep.
Thank you, Tyler. But
Well,
we don't use Sourcewell that often,
No.
and maybe then it's time to check on them.
Well, the benefit of Sourcewell is if you have a piece of equipment that works for your agency, very specific. And because if we go out to outside bid, we would bid a variety of vendors and variety of companies. But if we were we want this Bobcat E38, and because it is exactly like the ones we have, our newer versions, and all the attachments that can be mixed. They can be utilized by all the pieces of equipment, and so we can have a seamless continuation of work if one of the pieces break or something. So this would be a company where we go, we want this piece of material, get us the best price for it, and that's would be how you use Sourcewell. Is go is identify the specific manufacturer, specific piece of equipment, and go. They will bid that exact piece of equipment and get the lowest price.
So we spec'd that it was a Bobcat.
Yes.
E38.
Yes.
Okay.
If we were on a traditional one, which we've brought before you many times, we need a new loader. We will go and have every vendor for a loader, and then we could pick. Bobcat, we could pick a John Deere, and it's whatever is the lowest responsive bidder.
Yeah.
I'm confused here. If we did Sourcewell and Sourcewell gave us this price, and I just heard that the vendor that gave the lower price is also a member of Sourcewell.
They quoted.
Why-
They did quote a Kubota,
A different product.
so it's not.
Oh,
it's not the Bobcat.
Okay, I was gonna say somehow.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the same item.
No,
Devil in
not
the
same unit.
details.
So
That's why I'm confused.
So what they bid was the same size excavator, which was
But a
not
different-
not the same. Yeah.
Yeah, on certain pieces of equipment, we can do that. On certain ones that we need to make sure that we have one in operation plus equipment that we can respond to every leak on every day. Those we kind of want to keep of similar manufacturing types.
I would recommend our staff spec this Bobcat. I cannot tell you exactly. I know we heard from the public about a call that he made some information and came back with 20,000 less. It sounds like it's a different
It is a different
unit. It's a
that's-
totally,
That's what
so I would recommend that we continue forward with the spec that staff put together and the Sourcewell. We're fairly and well confident that we use these piggybacking programs in other aspects on purchasing as well. It's not just Sourcewell. There are other programs that we use piggybacking language in order to bypass, or not bypass, but get the product for a better price that's already been vetted. And that's what's on the table today. And I'd recommend that we continue to move forward.
I have a further comment, and I appreciate the discussion and the clarification. I do have a further comment specific to Bobcat, and that Bobcat is similar to John Deere and the lack of the right to repair. So unless that's changed recently, when your Bobcat equipment breaks, you have to have a Bobcat guy show up to do it, and that's not something that we can do in-house versus Caterpillar, Kubota, Cabelco. So there's a reason we don't see on the private side, we don't see Bobcat as often utilized as we see it on the public side, because the cost of repairing it, we can't change the oil filters ourselves, right? We have to have a tech come out and reset the computer. It's similar to the thing that John Deere's been in lawsuits about. So that's just a comment about the company themselves. Are you familiar with that at all? The right to repair? It's a big deal.
I repair my own stuff no matter what.
Follow that one. John Deere.
Anyways, that's an aside regarding that company, but that's not pertinent to the immediate
No,
discussion.
it's a valid point. Very valid point.
But I'll double down on that. I mean, my last two tractors have been Kubotas because we can work on them.
And we do have those in our fleet. Not to say anything bad, we do use those.
Bobcat makes a good. That's a good
I was gonna
machine,
say.
right? It's an absolutely good machine,
Both-
but we can't fix it ourselves.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay,
I appreciate the discussion.
thank you, Steve.
Oh,
Any? Go ahead, Rich.
boy. So my thoughts are that I'm just not automatically happy with the Bobcat. But I do trust Steve's judgment on this. And how soon do you need it? What's the lead time?
It's not an emergency. It is replacing a dated piece of equipment, but we don't have one sitting broken right now.
Yeah. I mean, given the fact that, yeah, working with John Deere and, I'm not going to name other names, right? But you did. I know, I like the simplicity of the Kubota, and I've been working with a guy who has a mini excavator about this size, and boy, it's good.
For the benefit of the fleets and the district, our recommendation is to keep the same manufacturer type of equipment for this item so that we can utilize all parts. We're purchasing for this item, but we also have some in existence in our yards.
Right.
So for this specific one, this is our recommendation for the mini X because it is our workhorse. We use this daily, everywhere, everything.
I've seen it.
But for other items that we bring before you, we will continue to do that, which is bring a variety of manufacturers and prices and equipment so that we get the best for the district.
I think going back to the drawing board and identifying a different type of item for this is, as our staff has already spent their time and figured out that this is the product that's going to work for us, and it's replacing an older product that has worked for us for a long time that needs replacement. I would recommend that we're not adjusting and amending staff's decision on the type of product. I think
the changeover is a much bigger project than just this one item.
But we're far back. If we have to change and go rebid, go out and rethink about the tool that we're going to use, we're well into summer. And
I don't know the controls on the Bobcat, but do we have like Goofy Stick versus the controls? Or so do we have
Now we're going into weeds.
Yeah, but do we have a training issue?
All the machines are interchangeable now.
Oh, they are?
Just
Okay.
Flip a switch and you run whatever
Okay.
controls you want.
We have an in-house training. Our safety department is very skilled on our training for.
Yeah. Well, I trust your judgment.
And again, these are somewhat one-offs on when using Sourcewell. We primarily, when we're looking at new pieces of larger equipment, do invite a variety of vendors to bid for us.
Thank you.
Satisfied with
I'm
questions?
satisfied.
Any, let's see, first a motion,
I will move approval of item 4F.
and then we need a second, please.
I'll second.
Brad.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any further board discussion, questions about this item? Any public comment on this item? Madam Secretary, call the roll, please.
Yes, can you first confirm my second?
Pardon me?
Thank you, Director Stephen. All right, Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Hmm.
Okay.
Wait,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
4H.
President, you're on 4H.
Yep.
Okay, 4H, that's me once again.
And me, both of
Okay.
us were.
So I've got some clarification here. Once again, we have the timing of the weather and I also got some clarification that the $30,000 is for the actuator to be built by a private firm. My biggest concerns here is once again that delta, which will need to be addressed, but the double walled piping is kind of a concern. I've been informed that the double walled piping is not required. So once that was discussed with me, I felt better about it. It's not required. They have a shut off, and the maintenance on the double walled is so difficult that it's going to be terrible. But my biggest concern is that delta and what we did to make sure that why. I mean, it's not just one delta there. There's huge deltas.
Mhm.
Hey, Gabe, would you like to speak?
And ask Gabe to come up.
What's about nitrox?
Good morning, Gabe Arano, Director of Engineering. And having heard your previous comments, I'm wishing I had gone and done some homework and have a better story on that 1.8 million. But basically we looked at that and just said, oh, we just discarded it and focused on the lower three, which you've already observed are much closer. So just focusing on the second and third, those are about 5% apart, not horrible. But we did then go inquire as to AUS, the low bidder. Hey, why are you so much less? Can you stand by this, your bid and deliver this work? You know, we want them to be successful because if they didn't bid enough and enough time or staff or resources, then we're not successful either. So, hey, can you stand by this bid or do you need to step out? That kind of a discussion. And they do stand by it. And it does have to do with that nitrox gas mix that they propose to dive with. And they have a special certification that allows them to use it. And it allows them to get 3 times the dive time per diver per day compared to their competitors that are diving with just, I believe it's just basically ambient air. And so the difference is threefold. Half an hour a day per diver versus an hour and a half per day per diver. And
What's the depth of that valve?
Oh, let me turn around and see if it might be like 80 feet. Does Peter know? So it might be 70 or 60. Right. So, okay, when the lake is full, it's approximately 80 feet below surface. And so that explains the difference to the low bid. So, and a couple things happen there. One is they're quite a bit lower. That's attractive. But there's actually, even in that lower price, more dive time to help us address. And this is a feature of diving that's frustrating for our staff, and it's new to me. I've never really dealt with divers. We can't observe this work directly ourselves, let alone do the work ourselves. So we're relying on these teams to come in and estimate their effort on these old 80-year-old vellum drawings on parchment paper. They're scanned and video through murky water.
1937.
I see you have a question. One moment here. I'll finish my thought. So the low bidder here, AUS, has I think more than twice as much potential dive time. And the way we put together the bid is we say, hey, we need 5 days of dive time. Here's the drawings. Here's what the operations are. The bidder develops a plan and proposes how many divers they need and how much time they need to do that work. And so they've come in with a lower price and more dive time. So that's what you got there.
So they video what they're doing, what they're seeing?
They will video the work and we'll be able to review it after the fact. Nice. We'd like to have like a drone on a tether and watch their work, but they object to that, not because they don't want us to see their work, but they don't want the tether anywhere near them as they dive near the gate and their operating system. And if the drone is far away, it doesn't really capture anything.
Unlike our last subject, the devil's in the details.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting.
Very interesting, yes. Because it's a huge spread, and we've oftentimes seen spreads really close.
Yes.
Like pipeline work and stuff. And so I looked at this too and I go, holy cow.
So I appreciate the competitive advantage they have, but why don't they just roll that into profit? It's just bad business. They could have added $30,000 and still won the bid.
They don't know that though. That's the
they don't know that their competitor doesn't also have certification to use that gas. Maybe they do, Director Fowler. I'm not sure, but
that's the beauty of competitive bidding.
Yeah,
if you get them to sharpen their pencil and bring it down, we save.
And I thought about, hey, are they out on a limb trying this gas and is it risky? But their competitors say, oh, we wish we had that certification too. That's a good option.
I'm certified in scuba and I understand what's going on.
There you go.
The depth of the valves and stuff.
Director Heck has a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. So for those listening, I wanted to point out something that the first thing I was struck by is that this reservoir is 166 years old.
Baby.
When we talk about our aging infrastructure, this might win the prize. I don't know, but it's big. So then my actual real question is, will this work result in being able to provide any modernizing to this 166-year-old piece of infrastructure that we have?
You're asking, will the proposed improvement
Yes,
work?
I'm asking, well, not that it'll work. I presume it will work.
Okay.
But will this be a modernization over what's been left in the water for 166
Well,
years?
this part has only been in since 37.
It says 37. Okay, well,
It's only 86.
the question stands. The question stands because I'm wondering, well, now we're going to do the diving and we're going to get information. Then do we come along behind it and have to do some other sort of repairs or replacements? Or is this all in going to be sufficient to take care of this problem?
Ask Peter this question.
I think there could be a bigger project where we get all new gates and mounting and hardware, and it could be a lot more costly, but that's not necessary. This infrastructure, it's been there for a long time and it is working well, and it's kind of a solid state. If we can have Peter here comment in a minute. Solid state piece of equipment. It's the metal of the gate and this cylinder that is like a piston that drives up and down to open and close the gate. And it's the cylinder and the tubing to it that we're proposing to replace. But assuming we replace it in kind, maybe we'll get another 86 years. So it's, I believe, a reasonably good plan. Maybe Peter has
I was just
add to it.
curious. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, Peter Wade, Director of Power Systems. Great question. This is currently scoped as replacement in kind for a hand pump and valve.
Okay.
And this reaches a happy medium of what's serviceable and what's useful in a very remote, high altitude, 6,000 foot aggressive environment.
Right.
You put a motor out there, it's going to have to last through that kind of winter, through that kind of temperature range. And we found the hand valve, the hand pump action to be very reliable, very dependable.
Remarkable. Really.
If during the dive they find additional problems with the slide gate at the LLO, then they'll make recommendations for future replacement.
Okay.
So this is intelligence gathering as well.
Got it.
While you're there, Peter, can you just comment on the status of the old dam? We haven't heard about this one.
So this is
Got rocks in it?
it's a earth-filled, rock-faced dam. It's in good condition. This is one of our, it's in very good conditions for its age, actually. It's got a mild defect on the downstream face, but it's a very pretty dam. We can show you some photos in the future if you'd like to see. It's the oldest dam that we own.
Field trip?
Yeah,
picnic.
It's in a very remote area. It's accessible through NID vehicles. The public has access to about 2 miles from this, and there's a hiking trail in that the public usually takes.
So when you turn on the water, somebody has to physically drive from your facility up to French Lake.
Yes.
That's
we
a day
typically-
trip, right?
Yeah, we typically drive in.
That's what the other thing is there any option to make this more automated so it doesn't take a human to drive in there and turn on the valve or whatever? Pump it.
Yeah, the current,
It's like, my God, that's crazy.
the current project is not scoped for any additional automation. We do have some telemetry that's fed back for low-level outlet releases to ensure that we're meeting our minimum required releases at this location. So there's a gauging station downstream that automatically telemeters that information out, but it doesn't have active control.
Didn't we just work on the gauging station 2 years ago? Or recently on that one, didn't we?
I'm not aware of when we did
did.
major work on that gauging station. You could be right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Thanks for the update.
166 years.
Yeah.
So the difference between 1.67 or 167,000 and 1.8 million, did they ever give an answer?
We didn't go back to the 1.8 million bidder and ask them if that's a good bid.
Where are they located?
Bay Area. Oh,
Wow.
Ballard Marine.
They probably misplaced a decimal point.
Wonder if they did.
I did ask that question.
Neighborhood.
They didn't. Yeah.
They did not.
Yeah.
The price is they're Malaysia.
Well, that's why we have a bidding process.
You have to choose our battles, and we focused on the low bidders and figured out where to go from there.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Peter.
It's proprietary.
Okay, let's see, where are we?
Okay.
Satisfy the questions on 4H.
It does for me. So I'd move to approve 4H.
Second.
Any public comment on 4-H since we've already had director comment? Okay, Madam Secretary, you call the roll, please.
Division 5,
Yes.
Division 4,
Yes.
Division 1,
Yes.
Division 3,
Aye.
Division 2.
Aye.
Just like that, we're through the
Just
consent.
like that, we got through.
Yes. It's only an hour.
Thank you.
and
We've
20
got
minutes.
through the consent agenda.
Oh, about.
Boy, yeah,
Too bad Jennifer isn't here. to
I know. Poor
witness
Jen,
this one.
what she missed.
the flashback if
If you're
I,
watching, Jennifer,
We'd have had eye roll and a stank eye.
we would have had both, yes.
God dang.
All right. Mr. President, can we move on to the final item?
Yes, we sure can. Workshop, artificial intelligence policy.
Okay.
Who's gonna?
I can start with this. Yeah.
Great.
We've got John Ortiz in the room. He's gonna come up to the podium and answer any technical questions or if you got any questions. So as NID develops its infrastructure, technological infrastructure, we are constantly communicating and working within internet systems and the World Wide Web even more so than ever before. AI, as you know, in the world is becoming a topic of conversation, not only locally, but nationally and internationally. And so many of the conferences that are associated with our industry, Aqua and NACWA, and John goes to the MISAC, which is the Information Security Systems conferences. AI becomes a big topic of conversation, and what are organizations doing with it? Many of our sister agencies are finding ways to work on AI policies. Some are catching up, some have them, some are working on them currently. We have used a few different organization AI policies to create our AI policy. We used AI to create our AI policy.
Now, what did they say?
I know.
AI helped us create our AI policy. However, with that said, and as you see in the development of the policy itself, the principles and what not to do and what to do is that whatever AI tells you in the world, that you have to verify it and have it overlooked by human interaction. So this policy was developed not only from John's office, but it went through myself, Jennifer. It went over to Dustin's office and legal. We helped develop it. It's maybe something a little longer than some of our other sister agencies. PCWA has one, I think, that is 2 pages long. We have one that's, currently slated at 3 pages long. It tries to cover all of the parameters that we want to see as our staff engages with artificial intelligence. It is everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It is in everybody's desktop and workstation and cell phone and iPad right now. So we cannot control and say you cannot use it. It's Gemini, it's Copilot, it's all of these other systems that I think in general in our daily lives, we don't even know we use, but we do use it. So this policy is intended to be a starting point. It's intended to be something that probably as artificial intelligence continues to advance, and we're going to see more ways that it can be used for good as well as for bad. We intend to update it as those changes become necessary, but from sort of our operational, organizational, staff basis, we will train staff on what to look for, what not to look for, how to use it, what not to use. One of the comments that Director Heck had mentioned to me is on in the policy 3300.3, we say 0.33, we say transparency, and then colon, this is the policy principles for AI use. We state stakeholders should be informed when AI tools are used. Director Heck made the comment and take that should be and say stakeholders must be informed when AI policies are used, or shall, one of those. Just like when we created this and I discussed it and I told you that we use AI to create this policy.
Right.
Just it's the transparency that's important.
Yes, it is.
And I think with that, John, do you have any comments about it?
I think you said it all.
Okay.
I'd like to follow up on that if I could real quick. The human sign off, I think, is incredibly important. And I almost think we need to have something in the policy that says when the human sign off is or how it's done. I'm not sure if that's possible.
Notations.
I'm not sure. So I have a concept on it. Maybe you could expound upon that. The other thing is that we used AI to create it. I currently will use ChatGPT to do something, and then I'll play ChatGPT against Grok and say, "Hey, Grok, this is what ChatGPT said. Have we done that to see if we can get some refinement on this?"
That's what the kids do in school too.
Yes.
Turn this on. Maybe you can answer that.
That is a great question. We use different tools. We use ChatGPT. We use Copilot, Gemini. To create this, there was different versions, but never to compete against each other.
I find that they want to compete against each other and say, "Oh, that was fine, but this over here needs attention." So I don't know if we could just refine that way or on the upgrades or whatever. But
Good.
So Brad brought it up, Ricky brought it up on 3300 3.3. Must, but a shall is the word.
Yeah.
That needs to be used. Okay. Confirmed.
You like
And then,
shall better?
no, it's
Well,
In-
it has
in
to be, it's a
general-
requirement to do it. It shall be disclosed, or it must.
the general plan or amendments or use codes shall. It's and then
This is a workshop, by the way, so we're.
Yes.
oh,
so 3300 3.1. Can you define equity? AI must support equity. What does that mean?
AI put that in there.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
May not even
it might
be
not be necessary for our purposes,
relevant.
our organization and our relevancy.
but I think it's loaded.
Sure. I would agree with that.
Mhm.
And
Strike it?
if the board is
Strike it.
willing, we can remove that word.
33.1, the word equity.
See, already trying to take over.
That was my question.
It's a good point. I think
Thanks for
it,
pointing that out.
yeah, I mean,
Feels good.
it is that word has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people. And I think that this policy is not intended to sort of promote any particular advancement of information. So
Right. So could ethical use be so, I like the second part. I mean, the two rules, do everything you say you're going to do and do no harm. Basic. But, and must, shall not be used
okay.
for harmful or malicious purposes.
Oh, you're in 3.2?
3.1. And again, shall, must.
Shall not.
So change must to shall.
Yeah.
Mhm. Here we are,
I think that's
wordsmithing.
fine.
But
Let's just say that overall, and we'll be bringing this back.
And 3.4, employees shall be responsible.
I agree, Rich. And in fact, I wanted to put out this idea. What do you think of the idea of an employee uses AI to construct whatever and that they sign it? John Ortiz, used AI to assist me in constructing this.
That is not an efficient use of staff time. That is, I think we use it in so many different various ways that it doesn't account for itself to be a signature by any particular.
Okay.
We just assume that AI is behind everything.
Yeah.
Well, and then, but
No, but we can, a signature I think is difficult, but depending on what it is, like for instance, this staff report, we said AI helped develop this. And that's easy to do. If you're researching a topic and you've kind of worked some of your research into a presentation, you could say at the end of it, AI assisted.
Well, what we have here is employees are responsible for validating the accuracy. Well, I'd like to know which employee validated the accuracy.
All right. That was my question.
So, I don't know that you need to sign it,
The
but
human sign off at the end is what's needed.
it is the human sign off is what's needed. And then I have
Pages.
another concern about specific, like to hydro, about the security. If we're using AI and we're going to use AI for hydro, which I presume we will, how do we know that the security is built in there so that AI, whoever that bot is, isn't receiving our secure information about our hydro and power generation system?
That is a great question. And I think once you put it out there in the web, it's out there. So you have to be cautious of what you ask AI. And I'm a big firm believer of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when eventually. And like Director Fowler said, is everything's integrated into AI. Sometimes we don't even know when AI.
Well, I get it. I know that's true, but
So regarding the hydro specific and CEI and our HR department and employee files, I mean, there are, and customer information, we have a lot of these files. The systems that we have in place and the systems that are on the web, the free services, if you just go to ChatGPT or wherever, you can't, our firewalls and our networks are firewalled and air gapped to ensure that those folders and those files do not get penetrated from an outside user or an outside source. Is that correct?
Yeah, let me answer some of that. So right now we're looking at implementing Copilot, which is Microsoft's version of AI. The version that we want to implement is within our tenant. It's in our own environment. So when we ask it a question, it uses our data. It does not go out to the internet unless you ask it to go out to the internet. So it's secure within our, what they call it, our tenant.
You know, though, you guys, I just feel like I'm coming back to this idea of the accountability and the employees. You know, we recently had in this community a person you may have read in the district attorney's office who used AI to help them draft, or not draft, help them with their legal motions. And there were errors discovered by the opposing counsel and kind of blew up, you know, the cases that this person had used AI for.
In there.
So I just feel kind of strongly that if we're going to make employees accountable, we need to know what employees used the resource. And not, they don't have to sign that said, I did this.
Well, there's digital signatures on everything when everybody touches a particular file. So there are after the fact analyses that could happen if something accidentally was reported on or was taken. I think we can look into that. I don't know that we can, I think we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
What this concern is and some level of accountability for employees using particularly sensitive information and district sensitive information.
I'm more worried about the human sign off because of the potential of hallucinations.
Potential what?
Hallucinations. AI right now hallucinates like crazy. On the court cases you're talking about, they'll say, yeah, it was John versus so-and-so, point in case. It never existed. They'll cite references of.
Oh, well, right. They get
So
incorrect.
they're hallucinations.
It makes it up.
It makes
Yeah,
stuff
it
up.
makes up
And so we definitely need to have serious human oversight on that. And I don't know, or human sign off. I don't know where that level should be. And I don't know if we need to have human sign off in levels. If it's this level of discussion, it's just whatever. But this over here has to be kind of like an engineering. If certain levels need certain levels of checking signs offs based on the severity of the decision that's made. Maybe that would satisfy stuff.
And we do have that in here in some degree.
3.2 and 3.4.
Which ones?
3.2 and 3.4.
And then let me pose a hypothetical. So let's see, we have a hydro employee who's going to release water. I don't know, I might be oversimplifying this. And they make a mistake. And AI tells them to release X and it should have been Y. How do we, is there a built-in system to immediately reverse it or catch it? Or, you know, what do we do if there's an AI-driven mistake? Because AI, like a legal case, will make up a legal case. What if AI says, oh no, you need to do this amount of water?
Well, correct.
I know you're rolling your eyes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's, at this point in time, there's no software program or non-human interaction where we're relying on some some algorithm that tells us how to manage or release the water system or power system for that matter. So at this point, that, perhaps that could be an evolution of AI in the future, but at this point, it certainly is not, if I'm right. Go ahead, Peter.
Peter Wade, Director of Power Systems. I want to address Ricky's question directly. For our water releases in hydro, they all still follow the chain of command and they're vetted by people. So I don't think this would be any different if we're using any AI supplement to help us understand if there's a way to optimize our routines for releases or our routing for releases, that would be checked by multiple people before it's actually executed.
So we have actual human beings then that will be.
Yeah. I can't imagine there's ever a world in the near future that's going to change.
Yeah, today that passes through a minimum of 4 people.
Okay.
So it's
But I was watching a video last month that, God, I swear it was Ben Carson.
What?
There's videos out there with avatars that you cannot tell the difference.
Oh, right.
Mimic the words, everything. And so it has to be more than a voice command. But even they expect in a few months, AI will be able to penetrate all the federal government's firewalls.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there.
Can I just bring us back to where we are real fast?
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. I want to just reiterate that this is a process to try to get us in line with the current systems of what AI is in the future. Currently, the largest IPO in the history of IPOs is about to happen, and it's revolving around API. Trillions of dollars, literally. We are just trying to kind of put a box around our staff and help us to understand it a lot. We do not intend to artificially change the nature of our processes based on the fact that, we still have a very robust IT system and OT system, and our firewalls are robust. There may come a time that
we'll have to address it down
in
the future. But I agree, this is initial first step, and it's a really good effort to put the box around and start addressing the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's a good way to put it. This is our first step.
Yeah. And very good job.
In the same spirit as Director Johansson, I think this is a sufficient placeholder for now, and we know this policy is going to continue to evolve. I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of these office jobs are going to go away because of AI, and they're going to shift. We've seen that already in the private sector, and it's going to come, I think, for a lot of other jobs.
Even tractor drivers.
I appreciate the conversation has evolved through many of my childhood favorite science fiction films and books, the rise of the machines and whatnot. So I think that's curious, and it's the real life is mimicking what was once fiction. And
see, I have my Dick Tracy watch.
and a more not related to anything comment, the font or the typeset of our policy manual is terrible. I find it nearly illegible compared to, yes, I do use spectacles. Thank you. I can read our minutes and our board packets, but whatever our policy manual, I always find it very difficult to read, and I don't know why that is, and I don't know.
Okay.
That
is a little off topic, but
it is off topic, and it was at least as on topic as the hallucinations. And it was. Thanks for the comment on that. I learned a new term.
Yeah. No, we can also look into.
I need to wash them.
So I'd be curious if we could throw it through one of the other AI systems also and just see what they have to say.
I'll do that. Yep. Feed it in there.
The rest of the content, I hear that there's interest in changing all the shalls, right?
Mhm.
Do a lot of those changes.
Yes, please.
We'll be removing the word equity out of 3.1. Other comments on acceptable uses, prohibited uses, kind of the flow of responsibility. We plan to train staff in, what we're asking staff to do. And in particular, when we get to some folks that are dealing with sensitive information often, particularly I'm thinking in the hydro team, there's going to be some additional conversations around the sensitivities around that.
I'd like to piggyback on something here. We say that it must have human review. I'd like the term appropriate human review, maybe, or something like that, so that different levels are reviewed at different degrees. Because
It's subjective.
no, it's
Yeah,
not.
Who decides what's appropriate?
If it's a hydro release, then we have it already, the system for who can do that. My son's not allowed to say, yeah, spill Rawlings. That's a human review.
Well,
Yeah. Well, we'll put that in the, I'll put that in the chat. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
It's not intended to supplement or, supplant the existing chain of command.
Right.
This is a tool to enhance the existing chain of command.
Well said.
But to piggyback on Rich's comments there, right now, the U.S. military is doing operations that ChatGPT, or not, AI, whatever that one is running the operation, and the militaries are moving their equipment. Venezuela's example went in being directed by AI, not by human interaction. So it's there. Yeah, less error.
Wow.
Without hallucinations, hopefully.
Okay.
Any, I failed to announce this a workshop. Anybody can chime in. Any further comment from the public? Any comment from the public on this policy? Proposed policy.
I don't-
Connor had her hand up.
Who?
Sarah Connor.
I don't see that hand any longer.
As this meeting's going, I'm surprised Jen hasn't called in.
from and
Right.
Get it now. Nice.
Like that?
That was good.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
okay.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, board. I'm sorry. We will bring this back
Oh, yes.
in the near future as a final draft, and we'll then go from there.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good start. My questions all got answered. I'll have to ask. Do you have any
Oh,
managers?
no, I don't. General manager's report?
Yeah.
I don't. There is nothing to report, I believe, at this point.
All right.
Can we hear from Chip about I know that we put out a Facebook thing on the, water storage and where we are. Can we hear from Chip about that?
We can hear from Chip on that.
Thank you, Chip.
Thank you, Chip.
Right. Oh, we even have it.
I just proudly like to announce AI was not used in the formation PowerPoint slideshow. All right, so we're about 3 weeks away from the midpoint of the season, so threw together a little update for y'all. And this kind of good that we're doing this now, because next month the chart will change and it looks like zero. So anyway, what you see here at our Bowman Lake precipitation station is we're at 72.77 inches of precip, which is actually pretty doggone good and above average. Average would have been 69.4. So while we were worried that spring was so dry, and it turned around and really caught itself up. So that was great. There we go. NID reservoir storage continues to be a bright point, 260,000 acre feet, 107% of average. So we're doing really good, and we're actually a little bit better than for our initial forecast. So that's good news. We'll continue to conserve as we can. And, it's an El Nino year coming up, and everybody talks about what that means, but in this particular location, it never means the same thing year over year. So who knows? I like to prepare for drought anyway. Across the state, the red line there shows where average would be in all of the state's reservoirs. Currently, the blue line is where we're at, so we're above average statewide. That's good news. And the California drought monitor really hasn't changed much. It does say that we're abnormally dry, but guess what? It's summer.
Summer.
We're always dry. These charts always crack me up.
Correct.
But the interesting thing is months ago, it had turned most of the state abnormally dry because it was.
Mhm.
March was very dry. But it really hasn't changed much. It's just kind of floating along, which is good. In fact, some of the northern part of the state has actually reversed course a little bit. The 8 to 14 day temperature outlook looks normal. That's good. 8 to 14 day precip is normal, which means dry. Welcome to summer. And then the seasonal, this is the one I continually focus on. August, September, and October, they're calling for warmer than average, which I think correlates to an El Nino year. And then precip, they kind of have us in that no man's land, 50-50, as far as what they expect for precip coming up. So it's a wait and see. All in all, the report's really pretty good. We have pretty good storage. We've had a few hiccups with PG&E. We got past all of that, and flows are on the way. So there you have it. Any questions?
So where is PG&E in all their?
So they are actively working on clearing Spalding of debris, and they were successful in getting a turbidity intake screen around the intake. Seems to be functioning, and they're moving forward with cleaning the reservoir, which is good.
On that, I understand that Fuller, a friend of mine was up at Fuller and said that whatever work they were doing has been done.
Yes.
And we're at full levels and have a report on that.
No report as of yet. They did coring samples in the dam to see what its consistency, what it's made up of. And we don't have the actual report details back yet. I think they expect it by the end of the month is what I'm hearing. Maybe next month is.
I was just up at Fuller a couple of days ago, and it is to the brim full. And the release, the water coming out of it into those canals is, I've just never, it was 5.5, 5 3/4 feet in the, or I don't know how you guys measure it, but the little measuring sticks are in there. Yeah. It was impressive, the amount of water
We're at full
coming
summer
out of
flows.
there
Yeah.
with the lake maintaining, high levels. It was pretty impressive.
Yep. Bringing it all across.
So that means water's coming down the Bowman Spalding.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Back in operation. It's good to have all facilities available to us again.
Yes. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, any new word on Bear River and yellow-legged frog?
We did have Fish and Wildlife did witness some egg masses below Rollins Reservoir and asked us to help them sustain those egg masses while they hatched by keeping a higher flow. We did so. We sent a little extra water for about a week and a half, and Fish and Wildlife went back out, checked the egg masses, saw that they had all hatched, and thanked us for our efforts, and we cut flows back down to where they should be. So we helped them.
Nice.
This is spurring on some future discussion about how we handle flows in the Bear River in future years. That's going to happen later this year, but anyway, it's on the radar now.
Are they going to pay us for the water?
Unfortunately, they don't. It is an endangered species by the state of California, so there's some legal obligations there, and that's, again, what we need to talk about in the future. Where does our obligation lie? How do we save water but still help the species out? So more to come on that.
How much extra water did we send down?
It was about, I think, 40 CFS-ish for about a week and a half.
So 80 to 560 acre feet?
Yes. Yeah. On the open market, that'd be worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I mean,
How many acre feet?
560 for 7 days.
About right. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Chip. Mr. President, I do have a small update that I want to give you. Yesterday, I was asked by Director Stevens for a grant update after our previous conversations after May's board meetings. There was some direction at staff to go after some grants and start looking for some grant monies for operational and capital projects. And so I just want to give you the update that as of now, since early May, we have hired a local grant writer and a grant organization that's helping us identify state, federal, and private grants that are out there in the world. We've got them identified by project, particularly sort of the high-level projects, which is the Scotts Flat Spillway, the Lake Wildwood, Wigga, whatever we're calling it now.
Wigga. That's very good.
That's sort of there. And the South Yuba Canal as sort of high priority projects that we're looking at finding federal state funding. Last month, we were working with another organization to develop Scotts Flat Prop 4 funding for that Scotts Flat. They are a firm that has helped us with grant applications in the past and has been successful with our Department of Energy grant, that $5 million for Scotts Flat. So they know the product very well, and they're going to be helping us write and develop and promote that grant through Prop 4, which is the dam safety funding, which the application period opens this fall. So we've got a few months left to prepare for that. In advance of that, we've received some formal written either a resolution and now a memo that so the Regional Water Authority has Scotts Flat as a recommended project for Prop 4 funding. And now we've got our Prop 4 funding recommendations with Scotts Flat with Mountain County's Resource Water Association. So a formal letter of recommendation for funding directly to the governor. So we're feeling good about that and the outreach to our local organizations and helping us sort of elevate our projects. We were asked to supply a notice or a written concept to the Sierra Nevada Conservancy recently for a wildfire protection plan for the South Yuba Canal. So we are building that now and should have that to them in the next month or so for their as a planning grant to look at the South Yuba Canal in total and really understand sort of how we can insulate it as much as we can from earthquakes, fire, landslides, etc. And just yesterday, I had a really nice conversation with both Placer and Nevada RCDs, and we're working with them to look at potential how we can work with our farmers and ranchers in looking at either grant funding or applicability towards other funds. And so had a really nice conversation with both RCDs yesterday and looking forward to how that's going to work out. So
great.
So I would love that. Everything you just said would be published big time because it demonstrates an effort by us to keep our water rates low, to help wherever we can, with the fish and wildlife, in the in-stream flows, the habitat, the watershed. I mean, we're doing so much work, and yet for the most part, I think we could do a better job of getting the word out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we just need to do that.
Rich, we're talking about putting a sign-up sheet on our website for Prop 4.
Mhm.
We're talking about putting a sign-up sheet on our website for Prop 4. Maybe we could part of that is what we're trying
I mean,
accomplish.
I think the website's one place, but social media is another. I think the union does their part too. That's great. Thank you. Certainly Ubinet.
Yeah, we've got a number.
You're squeaking over there now. But anyway, I would love to see this screamed on a billboard.
Okay.
Because we got to get the word out that we are actively trying to keep water rates low, and we're helping the watershed.
Look,
Yeah.
turn it off.
Thank you.
It's not me, it's you.
That's the end of my report.
They're more sensitive.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Greg. Director's reports.
So,
Earl.
Greg, thank you for bringing that up. I requested it. I'd actually like it to be maybe a part of every meeting is where we're at or what we've done or what we've accomplished, just so the public realizes that we are really trying to bring down prices. We're trying to get grants, stuff like that. I love the fact you met with RCD. the RCDs, both of them, because they do have some tools that hopefully we can use. The other thing is that mandarins are doing great. Pumpkins are planted and the fields are tilled for corn. So we're going forward full steam ahead.
Good. Awesome. Director Hick, thing?
Yeah, this will be really brief. I've just had numerous constituent meetings, and they've been really great. We've been discussing primarily the rates discussion. I've attended a few kind of gatherings of folks, and those have given me the opportunity to really correct the misinformation and answer questions that folks have. And it's really wonderful when people hear, first of all, the complexity, but also what we as NID are proactively doing and why, we took the action that we did, and that the 12.5% is simply the ceiling. I've come away and people have come away from those meetings saying, oh, okay, I get it. And no one's screaming and yelling, and, there's none of that I'm experiencing. People are just really happy to have the information and be informed. So that's it.
Director Johansson? Said yours.
He did his, yeah.
Director Fowler, any comment? Any report?
So Chip said we're 3 weeks from the middle of irrigation season. Is that correct? It's
Yeah.
funny how every year I look forward to it. About this time of year, I'm ready to end the irrigation season, and by October we'll be ready to quit. But what a blessing and a curse is the irrigated lands. It's so much work, and just happy for the results we get out of it. So that's where we are we're in the midsummer, or not even, I guess we are early summer, but we feel the midsummer doldrums. Had a great interaction about some water delivery that the agency was able to help me out with. And then I had a comment about one of the gentlemen that we did on the employee recognitions. And every time I've met with him, and for some reason I bump into Davin more than anybody. And I know there's a lot of family in this agency too, but when I stop and visit with a crew on the side of the road, he's always there and he's always willing to interact. And just and when they're out working on my canal, I'll go and visit with the guys, and he's always there, and just always have just a super positive interaction with that young man. And for whatever reason, he's always the face of NID when I bump into an NID crew. But he's willing to engage, and he's a great forward-facing employee. So
Great, good report. Okay, so all I have is I met with a couple of constituents, one with Ricky, and like she said, it's always, it's always interesting, the takeaway, how things change when when we all get more facts, right? And it goes both ways. So just glad to be able to do that. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.